So it's my goal with this video to take you from complete kettlebell novice to professional swinger. Yeah, I just heard that. Professional kettlebell swinger. It's not that kind of channel, folks. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're tackling the kettlebell swing and the 5-part checklist you need to swing perfectly every single time. The first is establishing a strong plank. Second will be how to perform the hip hinge correctly. Third is some drills that you can run through in preparation for your kettlebell swing. Fourth is cues to perform the move correctly and safely. And lastly, we're going to go over some of the most common mistakes that people make when performing the kettlebell swing, as well as fixes for them. First up, let's take a look at your plank, both the horizontal and standing variation. There are 3 points of contact I want you to keep in mind when you perform your plank. The back of your neck, the space between your shoulder blades, and your coccyx, or your tailbone. All 3 of these points should align when you perform your plank, whether in the standing or horizontal variation. It's important that you feel comfortable and strong in your plank position because it's the finishing point of our kettlebell swing. Here are a few cues I want you to remember when performing your plank. Let's start with the horizontal variation. Remember to squeeze your glutes, activate your lats by pulling your elbows back towards the body, and gently tuck your chin. Also work to push your heels away from you. The position should feel quite active and your body should start to shake after a few seconds if you're performing it correctly. If you're performing this version in the standing variation, you can do this against a wall, making sure that all 3 of those points are in contact with the wall. The back of your head, your shoulder blades, and your tailbone. Number 2, make it a hip hinge, not a squat. The kettlebell swing works to build strength in the posterior chain and glutes by hinging at the hips, rather than flexing at the knees, which would be the basis for a squat. If you're enjoying this video, it would really mean a lot if you took a moment out to hit that like button down below, subscribe to join the family, and share it with a friend who you think would also benefit from a little bit of kettlebell magic in their life. So in order to hinge properly, you need a strong deadlift. And I actually made a whole video on how to kettlebell deadlift, which is the basis for the kettlebell swing, or the prerequisite for the kettlebell swing, which I will link in the description box below. However, to sum up the most important takeaways from that video as it pertains here to your kettlebell swing, I want you to remember 3 things. First is establishing a strong plank, which we've already covered. The second is remembering the triangle between your shoulders, hips, and knees. And lastly, imagining that you have lemons in between your armpits that you want to squeeze to activate your lats before you stand up in the deadlift and before you hinge in the swing. At the end of this video, I'm going to go over the most common mistakes that people make when performing the kettlebell swing, which includes performing it more as a squat instead of a hinge. So stay tuned as I will go over also the fixes for some of those if you find that your swing looks a little bit more like a squat. Checklist item number 3 focuses on the drills that you can perform to prep your body for the swing. Each one of these drills works to highlight a specific cue that will help you perform your kettlebell swing safely and correctly each time. Okay, we finally made it to the fun part, which is the cues that you need to keep in mind when you perform your kettlebell swing. Now, before you get to swinging, I can't unhear it now that I've already said it. Before you start your kettlebell swing, there are a few things I want you to keep in mind. First is the setup. Keep in mind that triangle between your shoulders, knees, and hips. So before you even pick the bell up, I want you to hinge the hips back in a way that you have a nice triangle between those 3 areas. Next is activating the lats. So work to drag the bell a little bit towards your body, squeezing the lemons in your armpits to make sure that your lats are engaged. Third is your neck placement. It's important that you maintain a neutral neck throughout your swing. To do this, simply look on the floor about 2 meters or 6 feet in front of you. As you're performing the swing, keep your neck neutral by looking straight ahead of you. Next, let's talk breath. Take a deep inhale before you swing through your nose, And then at the top of your swing, once your hips snap, exhale sharply through your teeth. At the top of your swing, the arms should be extended but not locked out. Your exhale should time nicely with the arrival of your body into that strong standing plank. As the bell starts to descend, wait until your elbows touch your rib cage before you hinge the hips back. Make sure that your chest stays open throughout the movement. So you can do this by continuing to squeeze the lemons in your armpits, spreading your collarbones wide. Remember that you're proud to be performing this swing. Okay, and checklist item number 5 has to do with the mistakes and their solutions. So a common complaint I often hear of those performing the swing is that they get low back pain. This means that more likely than not, you are flexing the spine rather than the hips, which is a completely different move and one that will likely cause you low back pain. And a solution I have for this is to check your rhythm of your swing. You can do this either by asking someone to watch you or by filming yourself, but more often than not, it's caused by not letting your elbows touch your ribs before you hinge the hips back. Something that may help you with this is to imagine a hike pass of an American footballer. You can see here how deeply their hips are reaching back, while their spine remains more or less neutral. Mistake number 2 is your spine is overextending at the top of the move. This is due to a weak or disengaged standing plank. And the fix for this is to practice the hike pass to hip snap. So the second part of the kettlebell swing. For this one, I'd also suggest that you revisit the plank drill at the wall, so that you have a good understanding of what it feels like when those 3 points of contact align: back of your neck, your shoulders, and your coccyx. And finally, mistake number 3 is that your kettlebell swing looks a little bit more like a kettlebell squat. A simple solution for this is to elevate your toes onto books to keep more of the weight in the heels. This will help you focus in on the cue of pushing the hips backwards rather than down. Okay, that's going to do it from me today. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope that I covered the kettlebell swing in enough detail because it's a fabulous move, though there's a lot of moving parts. So if I left anything out or you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comments down below. I also made an entire 6-week fitness program based around the humble kettlebell, which you can check out in the description box below. Thank you all again. I'm wishing you a fabulous rest of your day and best of luck on your kettlebell swing journey. And I will see you back here in my next video very soon. Ciao!